Hey folks, good morning. Hope you're enjoying your weekend so far and looking forward to the next week. Um, I just wanted to kind of, give an overview in this video on a higher time frame on what can we expect for the next few weeks, right? So, last couple of weeks we have seen quite a drop from the highs approximately about 7% from 6130 to testing somewhere around 5666 on Friday, right? And then we got the bounce because we were looking for a bounce on that particular level. That was kind of a line in the sand for bulls, to be honest. And if that would have broken, uh, you know, um, then there was a bigger problem. If you see in this chart, right? So this is where I said that this has to kind of stop, even not if at 5700. That's 5672 is an area where I would expect it to really start bouncing, and it did bounce. We got a very high volume. We got this doji sort of a candle here. So for the meanwhile, I would assume the bottom is in, of course, as long as the lows of Friday are not broken, right? That remains the a kind of an assumption for bulls at this point, that this bounce was to do a bit of a retracement uh, on the overall drop that happened from 6130, right? And there was a 200 DMA at about 5730, right? That's protected because we closed above that. Right, so a couple of good things that happened on Friday when it bounced and closing above 200 EMA, and then the volume is good as well. So looked pretty all right to say that okay, the short term bottom could be in. But now the thing that we are gonna talk about is that what does it look like in a longer term time frame, and what can we expect really uh, from it, right? Now, first thing first. I mean, we have always, well, for the last few weeks, we have talked about this count being an five-wave count, saying that this was my fourth wave, and the fifth wave was yet to come. Though this fourth wave did not really enter into my wave one yet, so on SPX this is not invalidated, but on QQQ it did. Now, one can argue that it could be an ending diagonal where the 4 overlap of 1 is fine and the new high is still coming immediately. But for now, I would assume, or I would give a preference that, till the uncertainty lost in the market, immediate new high may or may not happen. So if you see QQQ did enter here into this wave 1 territory, right? So we have to deal with it as it is, and like I said, for now my assumption is that probably a new high is not coming, but we will not ignore that as we are moving into the next week and looking into what sort of bounce we are gonna get, and from there we can kind of figure it out what it's gonna retrace into, right? Now, if you just go first, let's look into the weekly levels, right? So this 5667 or 5670, that was a key level, and it kind of got tested. We got a little bit of a bounce there, right? Below that, we have this 5400 back from September. Below that, we have the August lows from the yen carry sale that happened, right? From somewhere around 5130, 5126, right? So very important key levels in here, and something which I talked about in the previous posts and previous chats as well, that we had this weekly divergence being built for a very long time, and now since we are in a correction, we have already corrected 7%. I would really look up to now this divergence being cleared out, right? Which means I don't want a new high. The new high is not gonna really shift a lot of indicators here might just probably go there, test there, and start dropping again. But all in all, what I'm looking for is that that this divergence gets cleared out, right? With which what I mean is that when the price come into these lower ranges, howsoever it comes, this thing is kind of bottoming out here. Probably have some sort of a bullish divergence building up as well, right? So that would be really nice to kind of go for a very go for another swing long for probably a few months from there, right? So that's something on a larger scale, on a weekly. Those are like the key levels. Now, the important part here is that we have this trend line uh, testing somewhere around in that 5400 area. So, right, whether this 5126 will be tested or not, I don't know. But my assumptions for now would be, let's keep it simple. Let's target 5400 as this wave 4 target, and then we will have a wave 5 going somewhere into 6600, 6700 mark later on when we have all this cleared out, and we are looking for a next move up going higher. And this will be my last stop for the overall run from the GFC. If you see, uh, from this point in 2009, we will be completing the wave one, two, three, four, and a fifth wave. And post that, I see kind of very long term correction. Again, another wave four. Wave fours are very difficult to determine, how low they're going to go, what pattern they're going to form. And that's something which I'm going to talk about this wave 4 as well in a moment, because wave 4 could be anything. Wave 4 could be a zigzag, wave 4 could be a flat. Typically they are flat, but they can be triangles as well. And in triangle, only the first wave goes down, which is the A, and that's kind of the shorter term bottom, and any of the other waves at B, C, D, E, they do not even go below A, right? So knowing that, let's first talk about this wave 4, right? So we are assuming that a wave 4 will be something here at 5400, and my assumption is that we are going to go bounce here somewhere into the 6000 area, and then gonna do a next leg down here into 5400. And let's see if we kind of able to measure it at either at 100% or something like that, right? So it's a little below 100%, probably 127%, right? So which is acceptable for this sort of a WXY, because this drop was really not an impulsive, though I can push an impulsive count, but this was more of a three wave count, and I'll show you when I go into the lower time frame on how I was looking into it. But this 5400 area makes sense if this is like a three drop, three up, and then another three choppy drop which happens, and we'll just call it as WXY for a four and be done with it, right? And yeah, so that's how it's gonna be. So it's not gonna be a flash sell or a limit down or anything like that. It's just gonna chop up towards this area 5990 or 6000, and then do what it has been doing in this leg for last few weeks, right? So slowly come down, do a little bit of bounces, and then coming down and coming down and coming down, right? So spending time probably till next 3-4 weeks to kind of finish this up, and by that time we'll be done with March and April seasonality as well, and then probably gonna start looking up after that, right? So that's one way of doing it. But in this case, like I said, I'm assuming that we are gonna come down to 5400. Can it be a flat? Yeah, it can be a flat. So if you had three waves down, you can retrace all the way up to 6100 as well, or 6088 with the number which you were looking at before. Make it double topish sort of a scenario. Don't have to go all the way to 6130. Anywhere close to 6100 is fine. That's a flat, and then you can have a five wave impulse down on some news, right? Again, target will be somewhere around 5400. So this is what a flat would look like, an A, B, C count instead of that W, X, Y sort of a count which I explained before, right? So both of those still have a potential to bring it down to 5400. But the third case, which is of a triangle, and that happens in a wave 4 as well, that would mean that this was the only low that we were gonna get, and all what we are gonna see now is this, which means no more 5400 test. We will just be chopping in this range which has been defined, and that will be it, right, for the next a few weeks. And this can be marked as wave 4 here, and then we just continue to move up further. This gets really annoying, to be honest, to be in a triangle, because for some time you are just unable to swing anything out, right? It goes up, drops, goes up, drops, goes up, drops, right? Every day there is a different momentum, and you don't really have a continuation anywhere, right? So 5400 is really an area which I would like to test. It will open up a lot of opportunities in many stocks for at least 50 to 60% upside, the way they have been destroyed in the last couple of weeks. And with 5400, that would be really an excellent opportunity to capture that. But again, I wanted to just lay down, because you would assume that, oh, RB should know what pattern it's gonna form in wave 4. No, there is no magic ball in here which I can tell you that, okay, is it gonna be a triangle, is it gonna be a flat, or is it gonna be a complex correction? This was a complex correction for you to understand. You had a W, X, Y, X, Z, right? Three waves down. People started calling it as an impulse down. It was not an impulse down. It was just a complex correction which happened, and we cannot just tell in advance that this what kind of complex correction or what kind of correction we are gonna get, right? We just know the levels of our interest. It came to this 5670. We said this is the area we at least expect a bounce, because if it kind of keeps dropping and comes to 5400, then I would say, oh, it's a bit larger than correction. Is it a trend change? Is it my top really in? The conversation will really drag in that direction. And to be honest, when we go into the lower time frame, the amount of chop it did for the last few uh, days or weeks, I think a week or more, was not really an impulse, right? So now, just when I was saying that we'll look into it in a shorter term time frame as well and see what it is doing. And as I was explaining in one of my chat or a call before, I feel that this was a double zigzag down. And when I say double zigzag, my it's like W leg was this, X and Y, and when you look in between, we had these five waves down here. One, two, three, four, five. Then we had another five waves down. So one, two, three, four, five. So this makes it as one zigzag, and you can just mark it as A, B, and C. And then you see another five waves down in this leg, and a five waves down in this leg as well, right? So repetition of the same thing. So the only way you can have four times a five waves down is when you are looking at a double zigzag, right? So another ABC. So in short, when two ABCs are combined, they just turn into a WXY, which says all the waves which were done in this were like three waves, three, three, and three, right? So once this is completed, there was a change in structure here. We made a new high on the close, or on Friday after from this drop. Now all what we are looking for is, come Monday, if even if you see a drop, we want this fair value gap to be protected, which means the price should not close on an hourly basis above or below 5700. If it starts doing that, then it's gonna be a problem for the bulls, right? So I'm okay if it goes up, close this gaps first, comes down later on, that's fine. Or if it chops, well, Mondays generally are a chop. If it goes a little bit up here, fail to close the gap, but then starts chopping to come into this fair value gap again, and then starts to move up, that's fine as well, right? Now, since we are in this shorter term time frame, let's also talk about what are our expectations. Now, since we are looking at it as a bounce towards 6,000, I wanted this structure to be retraced completely from a Monday the 24th, right? So 6,000, somewhere here, 6,030. It's a great spot. This is a good supply zone and a fair value gap above, right? So somewhere around in this area, I would like it to test. But the key levels above is gonna be certainly where first you have this gap at 5810, and then you have this 5865 as a level, right? So these are my immediate levels of resistance. Since it's gonna be another probably a three-wave retrace, going up, it's gonna test all these levels. We're gonna have some reaction, and then going up, you have this big fair value gap on the hourly here. So probably lead to reach here, test this zone, drop another a point, maybe 100 points, come back, and then go once more up, something like that, right? Again, could be a three-wave move going up, something like this. So could be anything, but at the end, I'm looking at these levels, that how further we can go. It can be choppy as hell with all the given uncertainty and the news which keeps coming in through the day with Trump talking to the press. But just let's assume that something like this is going to happen, and we are going to get into this, 6,000 zone is what my expectation really is. Can these wave Bs be shorter? They can be shorter, but again, like in any correction, it's very hard to kind of share in advance that, oh, it's not gonna go above 5864. Again, once it goes there, we expect the reaction. Once the reaction happens, we have to see the formation and see if the prior supports are really holding or they're not holding, right? So you have to be cautiously playing or scalping, but swings at this point has a lower rate of success just because we are expecting a lot of choppiness to continue in either of the formation, right? So coming back to the higher level, now you know that these are your levels of interest, and above that we had this 5985, right? So let's see what we go and retrace, and from there potential would be to build the short again, right? And like I said, my idea is to go down to 5400. So, given more information that comes next week, we'll see what the formation and the structure looks like. But I would look to build some shorts in this area, and then come all the way down into 5400. That's my thought process right now, and hope this kind of gives you a clarity on what's going to happen for the next few weeks, and help you plan accordingly. Thank you very much. Have a good day, and good luck. Bye bye.